I looked at the great house of greyish-black stone, silhouetted against a hazy backdrop of sea mist that curled around its towers and turrets, obscuring the sky and the ocean and the sweep of the moorland to left and to right. And the nervousness that had niggled like worms in my stomach was, for a moment, quite forgotten. I knew only a strange, wild exhilaration. I forced breath into my taut, constricted lungs and tasted the salt in that cold, clammy air, fresh and sweet and intoxicating, not contaminated with the stink of fish that I was accustomed to smelling from morning to night. And when my heart began to beat again, it pounded against my ribs as the waves pound on the rocks when a storm is raging. Porthminster Hall. A whole morning's carriage ride from St. Ives, the fishing village where I had lived for almost all of the 19 years of my life. A world away from the one-roomed hovel on the quay, where old Tam had cared for me and raised me, and where, for all its lack of comforts, I had never known anything but love and security. And yet, if what Tam had told me was to be believed, it was my heritage, my home. And believe it I did, now that I had seen it with my own eyes and felt the maelstrom of emotion pulsing through my veins. Unbelievable as the story Tam had told me had seemed to me when first I listened, bewildered to her halting words, now my doubts vanished, and with them the hesitance I had tussled with ever since. I looked at Porthminster Hall and knew that I had done the right thing in coming here. Whatever reception awaited me within those forbidding walls, whatever dark secrets from my hidden past I might have to confront, whatever opposition to my unexpected resurrection from the dead I might encounter, yet I knew I had done the right thing. A birthright and a heritage cannot be denied. The Polmars were my family, for better or for worse. And Porthminster Hall was my ancestral home. Tam told me the terrible story, as much as she knew of it, on my 18th birthday. I had always known, of course, that she was not my mother, nor even my kin, for she had never deceived me as to that. But she was strangely reluctant to discuss my origins. My mother, she told me, when I was old enough to ask, had left me in her care, promising to return for me. Why? I pressed her. Why did she leave me? But Tam was unwilling to answer. You'll know when you're older, was all that she would say. What is she like? I persisted. Tam's eyes narrowed in her weather-beaten face. What do you want to know that for? Because I do. Am I like her, Tam? Tam snorted. Like enough, when you do bother to brush your hair and wash your face. You have her eyes, right enough. Green as the sea when a storm's brewing. And your hair's the same colour, black as a raven's wing, though I never did see hers in a tangle like yours. You can have the look of an angel on that face of yours sometimes, even when you're bad, just like she did at your age. Not that she were ever bad. She didn't have your temper, and that's for sure. That's not your mother at all. I don't know where your temper came from, and I don't know as I want to. You knew her when she was a little girl, like me? I asked, wonderingly. I did that. Nursed her, I did, and watched her grow. An angel she was. An angel, and a real lady, even then. My princess, I used to call her. And so she was. Not one that ought to have been born a boy like you. Not running the streets when she ought to be in bed. Not plaguing the life out of old Tam. A proper lady. My heart swelled with excitement and pride. A proper lady, a princess, an angel. And beautiful too, I felt sure. Not wrinkled and shrunken and smelling of fish as Tam did, but scented and powdered and